do not want to answer any questions on that.
I took some time to answer some questions for you.
Sir, he was with you for at least 20 minutes.
No, he wasn't. I have it all on tape. I have some questions for you.
Marty, did you get the new caps in?
Without any interference.
Did you get the new caps in on it?
You can just let me editorialize, or you can answer the question.
I think you're going to editorialize it.
Well, yeah, you can answer the question. That's fine. There you go. Didn't answer the questions. This is typical. So there we go.
You're not part of the typical.
My friend, I didn't answer. So here we go.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. It's very clear that Danny does not want to answer any questions, and so we're going to lay this out. All right. Tonight we're at the Adventist Academy for a political forum tonight. I'm here interviewing Beverly Ledbetter, who is the Democratic nominee running against young Danny Burgess, the Republican candidate for the Florida House of Representatives, District 38. And so we're going to ask a few questions of Beverly, and later on we'll hope that Mr. Burgess will be equally enamored with answering a few questions that I will present to him. So Beverly, without any further ado, can you tell us why you're uniquely qualified to take on this post over from Mr. Weatherford, who was there and had such a fine run?
Oh, definitely. Well, you know, East Pasco County in our district is a very diverse district, so you really need someone who has a diverse background of experiences. So in my lifetime, I have spent almost 40 years now as an educator, and education is very, very important, not only in our district, but across the state. And as a teacher, I know the issues, I understand Common Core, understand the problems and the constraints, and I understand how that's affecting our students. Also, we have a small family business, so I understand what it's like to put together a payroll. I understand what it's like to try to expand. So I understand those types of things and can bring that to the table as well. And as a cancer survivor, I truly understand how important it is for people to have access to quality health care. And I saw too many times my students coming to me very upset when mom and dad postponed getting some sort of health benefits and going and getting health care, and then finding out they were in stage 4 cancer and were dying. So we have to expand Medicaid, and that's the difference between. I also believe that working people need to be respected, and that is one of the reasons why I'm running, is I'm tired of the condescending attitude towards the working people of this state that we have up in Tallahassee. So I think this variety of background that I have, you know, I'm a homeowner, so I'm a taxpayer. I think those are the things that I bring to the table that is different from my opponent.
Absolutely stunning. Excellent. Now, what I'd like to do is, since I do work in cancer and I see what you're talking about, I can absolutely establish that what you're saying is the truth, and that people do delay getting health care for a variety of reasons, and often that reason is not having any health care coverage in fear of the financial burden that could take place if they undertake trying to get health care without having any insurance. And Medicaid, certainly under that federal program that the legislature has been so unwilling to take on, it's offered to cover like 50% of the uninsured people in the area. Also, the doctors are much more willing to take Medicaid because the reimbursement rates have increased as well.
Well, not only that, but when you increase and you expand Medicaid, you're also going to create a demand for nurses. You're going to create a demand for doctors. You're going to create jobs. So if we're talking about a governor and we're talking about a legislature who thinks that jobs are important, this is an easy way, and these are high-paying jobs, good-paying jobs.
Professional jobs.
Because what we're talking about when we're talking about Medicaid expansion, people get the idea that people on Medicaid are lazy bums. We're talking about those people in that hole. These are working Floridians who cannot afford insurance, who postpone getting help for themselves because they will take care of their children before they will take care of themselves. And what we need to remember is this: that money that will come to us from that Medicaid expansion, that is money that we have paid into the federal government that is coming back to us. So it's basically our tax
And
dollars.
there's all the multiplier effects that would occur consistent with the increase in demand for health care that
Yes.
is reimbursed. Okay, another question for you, Beverly, which concerns the freedom to serve, which, according to this document here, which was a questionnaire that I think you answered, allowing individuals and organizations the freedom to serve the public in accord with moral or religious beliefs concerning the sanctity of life and marriage. Now, Mr. Burgess supports that, and it's my understanding that what this piece of legislation consists of, which is supported by the American Legislative Exchange Council. So, say a pharmacy, a pharmacist whose religious beliefs are, we'll say, anti-choice, may decide not to dispense, say, birth control pills, for example, and this is something that your opponent supports. Perhaps you can give us your position on that.
If you're putting yourself out to the public, then you need to serve all of the public. I think that is important. And I think that people are certainly entitled to their own opinions, but when you put yourself out as a business, then you need to serve everyone.
And a professional, a licensed professional.
Yes, a licensed professional. You need to take and do that. You know, we have laws in this country, and we are a nation of laws. And anything that is legal, non-discriminatory, then you need to follow those. And I'm sorry, but Roe versus Wade is a part.
Settled law.
Yes, it's set into law. And anyone who is running for office who tells you that they are going to change a woman's right to have an abortion, a woman's right to privacy, then they're pandering to
control
votes.
her own procreation.
Yes, they're pandering for votes, or they don't understand the Constitution.
Okay. I think you have answered a question already with reference to leadership, and I was wondering if when we speak about your prior experience, you haven't been elected, but I, as certainly someone who has run for office and has never been elected, feel that you need not have been previously elected to hold office and do it in a very more than sufficient fashion. So, what would you say to what our young man who talked that your opponent would say? He kind of rides on the surfboard regarding his formerly being elected to city council and mayor of Zephyr Hills.
By maybe 300 votes?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because he does mention that all the time. But the only thing he mentions is that he served. He has never once said anything that he is proud of doing as a city councilman or something that he's done as mayor that he's proud of. So there's been no discussion of that. The only thing that I can find out about it is that when he was on the city commission, he left, went to Tampa, was living, and was chastised by Republican Governor Bush and told you have to live in Zephyr Hills if you want to be a member of the city council. So when you're talking about experience, you're talking about a knowledge of issues, and I think that's where I stand for it as a better candidate.
Absolutely, and of course the St. Petersburg Times did discuss his failure to adequately understand what it was he was supposed to be responsible for when he was a councilman. With that, also I'd like to mention, he talks about being a soldier and being inspired by September 11th. Now, if my math is correct, when September 11th took place, he was perhaps 13 or 14 years old, and so maybe 15 tops. And people I've known that were inspired by September 11th that may have been just a little bit older than him, but as soon as they got out of high school, they joined the Army and Marine Corps. Mr. Burgess decided rather to first get a degree in political science and then complete law school and then join a law firm, and then in 2012 he decided to join the Army as a judge advocate. He is promoting himself as a soldier and a leader, and I think in most people, when they know the history behind it, would consider that somewhat disingenuous. What are your thoughts on waiting over a decade, if you're so, or was this a more in line with his political aspirations?
I'm not one who can judge somebody's patriotism. I think that would be wrong of me to judge someone's patriotism and one's motives as to what one did. I think it's great that people want to serve our country, and I'm proud of my students who joined. My husband served, my father served, so I'm not going to judge anybody on their service to their country.
Excellent response. And Beverly, best luck, Godspeed, and of course, you know that I wish you well and hope that you can prevail in this election. The candidate cannot speak for himself because he knows he's going to lose.